2025 has arrived with a shockwave in global politics. The recent China-Russia summit in Beijing was not just another diplomatic meeting. It was a message to the world, a signal that the balance of power is shifting faster than ever before. Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin appeared side by side, projecting unity in a way that sent ripples across Washington, Brussels, and beyond. This summit is more than photo opportunities. It represents a serious attempt to redraw the map of global influence. For decades, the United States and its allies dominated the international stage. But today, with economic sanctions on Russia, with trade wars against China, and with rising conflicts worldwide, a new power block is emerging, and the rules of the game may never be the same again. To understand why this moment matters, we must look at history. China and Russia have not always been on the same page. During the Cold War, their relationship swung between friendship and bitter rivalry. But in recent years, especially after the Ukraine war in 2022, their paths have converged. Russia, isolated by Western sanctions, turned eastward for survival. China, under pressure from the US over trade, technology, and Taiwan, needed reliable allies who would not bow to Washington. This is why the 2025 summit is significant. It shows how two powers, once cautious of each other, are now embracing a deeper partnership, not out of pure trust, but out of necessity and strategic calculation. In international politics, survival often creates stronger bonds than friendship. One of the biggest outcomes of this summit is economics. Russia has openly shifted its oil and gas exports away from Europe and is now feeding China's massive energy appetite. New pipeline projects, cross-border trade agreements, and investment deals worth billions were announced in Beijing. For China, this is an opportunity to secure cheap energy and diversify trade routes under the Belt and Road Initiative. For Russia, this is lifeline money, a way to keep its economy alive while Western sanctions remain in place. But the impact goes far beyond these two nations. If China and Russia succeed in bypassing Western financial systems like SWIFT, and if they expand energy sales outside of the dollar system, then global markets will face a shockwave. This could weaken the dollar's dominance, increase instability in Europe, and force developing nations to rethink who they rely on for trade. The summit also carried strong military undertones. Announcements of joint naval exercises in the Pacific, increased defense technology transfers, and expanded intelligence sharing were made. For NATO and the US, this is alarming. Imagine a scenario where Russian weapons and Chinese manufacturing capacity combine into a new military-industrial complex. It could fundamentally change the balance of power in regions like the South China Sea, the Arctic, and Eastern Europe. China, already asserting its dominance in the Pacific, gains a nuclear-backed partner with decades of military experience. Russia, struggling with the cost of the Ukraine conflict, gains access to Chinese drones, semiconductors, and economic support for its war machine. This is not just cooperation. It is the formation of a potential counterweight to the Western-led security order. The reactions around the world have been sharp. The US called the summit a strategic threat. European leaders promised to double down on defense spending and energy diversification. India finds itself in a delicate position. It has long relied on Russian weapons, but remains locked in territorial disputes with China. Delhi must now navigate a tricky balancing act, staying close to Moscow while not empowering Beijing. Meanwhile, Middle Eastern countries like Iran and Saudi Arabia are watching closely. For Iran, a stronger China-Russia axis provides a shield against Western pressure. For Saudi Arabia, it means recalibrating its oil politics to keep leverage in a changing market. In Africa and Latin America, this summit is being viewed as an opportunity. Nations there, often tired of Western dominance, may see China and Russia as alternative partners who can provide investments without conditions tied to democracy or human rights. The China-Russia Summit of 2025 is a historic signal. We are no longer living in a unipolar world where the US calls all the shots. Instead, we are entering a multipolar era, where power is divided, alliances are shifting, and global stability is far from guaranteed. The question is not whether China and Russia can work together today. Clearly, they can. The real question is, how long will their interests remain aligned? Russia needs China's money, and China needs Russia's resources. But in the long run, both are ambitious powers that may not share the same vision. Still, one fact is undeniable. This summit marks a turning point in world politics. The global order is being rewritten before our eyes, and the choices made in Beijing and Moscow this year will echo across the world for decades to come.